Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich, along with Gene Collier. And we got a couple tweets here I want to read. Troy Ellich just tweeted me. He said, R-Dub, I didn't think it was possible Glasnow's ERA could go up after tonight's start, but he was able to get it from 745 to 789 tonight. I saw the nice tweet you sent out earlier. I thought it was funny about the game time. Yeah, you know, it's 8-2. The Bucks are battling back. It's not over yet. You know, what bothers me, Gene, is you got two teams that are similar. You have the Cleveland Indians and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they're trending in exact opposite directions. And, you know, maybe this is just such a broad question, but why? Why do you think?
I mean, similar in market size.
Similar in market size. Yeah. Is that what I said? I don't know what I said there.
You said two teams that are similar. And
yeah, similar in market size is what I meant. Similar.
Well, you know, in this, all these things are cyclical, but in this particular cycle, the Indians are, you know, drafting better, developing players better, getting a little bit lucky in the free agent market. Corey Kluber is a tremendous pitcher, probably win the Cy Young. He goes out there, he throws 9 innings. Who does that anymore? He's going to carry. He could carry them a long way. The Indians are really entertaining, and you know, good luck to them.
I think a lot of Vegas odds makers have them as the favorites now to win the World Series.
Right, with the Dodger slide.
You would think. Now, let's go back to the Pirates. Tyler Glasnow. He just can't pitch in the majors for some reason, or hasn't proven that he could pitch in the majors. He dominates AAA. Unfortunately, there's not a quad A in between the majors and AAA.
This is it.
Yeah. So there's no middle in between. So, I mean, what do they do with him? At this point, I think that you potentially could start losing your confidence, Glasnow. I mean, I'm sure they would deny it, but hey, if I can't pitch against Major League pitching, I don't know. I would be totally lost. Be like if I couldn't make a 3-foot putt.
Well, you know, he's still a young pitcher, and young pitchers have to learn to do this. He certainly hasn't put himself in a good position relative to the other starters. You know, the Pirates have a weird kind of rotation, Richie. I mean, they've been very stable throughout the year, but not really very good. So, I mean, there's opportunity there for somebody like a Glasnow who has great ability. You know, he could take over one of those spots conceivably, and he had one earlier in the year, pitched himself out of it. The only thing you do with a guy like that, in my view, is, you know, you go back to spring training. You know, he competes for it again. Maybe he gets it again. If he gets it, give it to him. And you know, he hasn't proven definitively that he can't pitch at this level because the the sample size is not big enough. But yeah, I mean, it looks like he might not be able to, and you know, it's happened a million times before. You know, it's no mystery. It's hard to pitch at this level.
Yeah, but do you let a guy battle through it, getting shelled like he did tonight? I mean, and send him back out there again and. I mean, I don't know.
I send him back out there 2 or 3 more times this year, whatever you have time for. Certainly, there's nothing to lose. But I think they were patient enough with him at the beginning of the season, and they finally ran out of patience. So I think it's a very natural process to this point. I don't think it's terribly alarming.
All right, let's go to Joe in Penn Hills. How you doing, Joe? What's up?
Hey, Rich. Hi, Gene.
Good. How you doing?
I turned on the power game about the 5th inning. Curiosity, just to get a score, seeing what Glass did. And 5-1, okay, boom, boom, boom. But what really cracked me up, you guys, is Dan Potash. He says, we got some great news. I said, oh, wow, what's this? He said the Altoona Curve has just won their 2nd game, and they need one more game for the championship. And I said, who cares about the Altoona Curve, the Indianapolis whoever's, the Bradenton Marauders? Develop players for the majors. I could care less about championships and the minors, but that was the big news. So just to let you know how the Pirate organization is going, they're a disgrace. They're so messed up. I don't know where they're heading. Like Mark Madden said, they're going for a 100-game loss next year. So I just had a vent to you guys, but I thought that was amusing. That was the great news.
Well, you know what? You can't blame AT&T Sports Network. They're the Pirates broadcasters. You know, they got to try to do whatever they can to make the broadcast look good or sound good or positive in the Pirates' direction. They can't get up there and bash the Pirates because they're partners. But, you know, we can. And you guys can, and people on Twitter can, and people see. I think their whole, their whole rhetoric is becoming. I think it's just becoming on deaf ears. You know, I don't think people are. I think they're starting to lose fans and losing fans fast.
Yeah, I think it is kind of sad when, you know, the broadcast arm of the organization seems to spend so much time talking about prospects and, you know, the minor league teams, and even on the radio they have a regular segment every week where they talk to a minor leaguer. There can't be, you know, there might be, but I'm not sure there is another market in the major leagues that spends so much time on players who are not here. And, you know, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I'm with Joe. I don't care about Altoona. I don't care about Indianapolis. I care about the Pirates, and I want to see the Pirates win, and they're not winning right now, and it's disappointing. It's disappointing for us, the people that cover the team. It's disappointing, really disappointing for the fans that are that want to go see a winner out there, and this team hasn't even been close to proving it can be a winner this year. They've been behind, basically, from, you know, early in the season, even though they were in the mix a little bit and would fight. But I think that was just it was a mirage, I think. They were never really in it.
Haven't spent many days over 500. That's right.
And, you know, right now you have to wonder how far away they are. If they're going to trade Andrew McCutchen, where are they going to be? And they're going to have a similar team coming back. They don't have the money to bring other guys in here, but they'll tell you they're going to spend $5 million in Latin America or the Dominican or at Pirate City or building something in Altoona or Indianapolis, or refreshment stands at PNC Park. But I want to see that money go into the lineup, to the roster.
Yeah. That stuff's inexpensive at those other levels. It's at the major league level that it gets a little binding.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get one more call here, and we're going to go out to Eric in Stanton Heights. How you doing, Eric?
Rich and Gene, how are you tonight?
Hey, good.
All right, about the Pitt-Penn State thing. A gentleman called last night and went after Bob Pompiani about the Pitt fan base. They're jealous of Penn State because they're better than this and that. Listen, it's just simple. They entered the Big Ten in 1994, Penn State, and they haven't done nothing since. The 2 national championships in the history of the program came when they were an independent. Paterno made his own schedule, playing Rutgers, playing Temple, playing Syracuse every year. When's the last time a Penn State defensive back made it to the NFL? When they go against a team with athletic wide receivers, they get pounded all the time. Look at the history of them. They recruit their defensive backs at Churchill Downs in Kentucky because they look like thoroughbred disc jockeys. Thank you.
Hey, you know what, Gene? I don't think the Pitt fan base thinks or feels inferior to the Penn State fan base. I just think Penn State football team is better than Pitt's football team right now. And, of course, Penn State should have a larger fan base. Their enrollment is almost 3 times what Pitt is, main campus. You got nothing to say about that.
I got no disagreement with that.
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, I want to go back, and I've been on record for the last how many years saying that Pitt and Penn State need to play every single year. This is a game. You look at what that state, you look at what happened up there and the atmosphere, and I don't care. No Penn State people can tell me that this isn't a rivalry when you have the 7th largest crowd, the biggest crowd since 2099. They had the most recruits there. They were selling tickets at almost double the price for this game. This is a rivalry. Virginia Tech is not going to bring 110,000 people that game. Georgia State, for sure, this week is not going to. The attendance won't even be close to 110,000. And you can argue with me all you want, but it's not even going to be close. And Pitt and Penn State need to play every year. That's just what I think.
You're scaring me, Rich.
Yeah. All right. We got to go to break. Back in a couple of minutes.